Hare Krishna, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrita Adi-Lila, chapter 7, text 116. Ishwarera tattva yena jvalita jvalana jivera swarupa yaichesva lingera kana. The Lord is like a great blazing fire, and the living entities are like small sparks of that fire. So this is our relationship. We are part and parcel of God. We are not God. So if we want to compare, we can say that the Lord, he's like a great big fire, and the fire has sparks, and we are those tiny sparks. We are individuals, not that we are God, we merge into the body of God. No, we are individual souls. We continue to remain individuals even after liberation. All the sparks and a big fire are both fire, and both have the power to burn. The burning power of the fire and that of the spark are not the same. If our hand, if our hand touches a spark of fire, sure we'll get burned, but the degree of the burn is going to be relatively very, very low compared to when we put our hand in a big fire. And then our hand is gone immediately gone. So that's the power of the big fire. But the power of the spark is very less. That is what it is. God, he's all powerful. We, the souls, are tiny sparks. We have tiny power. Why should one artificially try to become like a big fire? Although by constitution, he is like a small spark. It is due to ignorance. So, this is our identity, like a small spark. But what we are doing, we are pretending that we are the big fire. We are pretending we are so powerful. We are pretending that, everything's happening because of me. I'm the controller. I'm the powerful. I'm God. Now, why we are doing it? Because of ignorance. In ignorance, we are thinking that we are God or that we will become God one day. That is our ignorance. One should therefore understand that neither the Supreme Personality of Godhead nor the small spark-like living entities have anything to do with matter. But when the spiritual spark comes in contact with the material world, his fiery quality is extinguished. So we are spirit souls. God, he is the Supreme Spirit. So both God and we, the souls, have nothing to do with the material world. We have nothing to do here. But when we, the spirit souls, when we come in contact with the material energy, what happens is we get covered by her. Although we are spiritual, we are more powerful than her, but because our size is so small, she captures us. She captures us, and we start thinking, I'm the body. That is the position of the conditioned souls. But God, Maya can never capture God. Big fire, you're not gonna, a tiny wind is not gonna blow that out. That's a huge blazing fire. You can't, it's not gonna douse out. So because they are in touch with the material world, their spiritual quality is almost dead. This is for us. We are here right now in the material world, in the atmosphere, in this material atmosphere. So our spiritual quality is almost dead. We are thinking we are the body. We are thinking we are individuals because we are the body. But because these spiritual sparks are all Krishna's parts and parcels, as the Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamshaha, they can revive their original position by getting free from material contact. So it's only now, because we are in this material atmosphere, that we are thinking we are matter. We are thinking we are the body, or we are thinking we can become God. So how can we revive our original position when we get out of this material nature? As soon as we get out, we will be again reinstated as spirit souls. This is pure philosophical understanding. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manasasthani Indriyani. He says that the living entities are my eternal fragmental parts. Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, that the living entities, we are the living entities. What is our origin? Krishna says they are all my eternal fragmental parts. We all belong to Krishna. We are all parts and parcels of Krishna. This is pure philosophical understanding. In the Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual sparks are declared to be sanatana, eternal. So we are eternal. It's not that once we give up this body that we die. No, we can never die. Or it's not that once we get liberated, we die. No, we can never die. It's not that once we get liberated, we are going to become God. No, we can never become God. We simply have to revive our original position as part and parcel of God. In the Bhagavad Gita, therefore the material energy, Maya, cannot affect their constitutional position. So it's like, gold. So we say we have a gold ring. It's nice and bright and shining, very, very new, polished. Now this gold ring falls in a sewer. So then what happens once it's fallen in the sewer, and if we pick it up, it's fully covered in muck and dirt and all the dirty things. But does it mean that the gold is gone? Does it mean that now the gold ring has become muck and dirt and, all these dirty things? What do you think? No, the gold ring is still gold. It's just fallen into the sewer, and so it's just covered by the dirt. But if you wash off the dirt, the gold will again shine. Similarly, we are spirit souls, parts and parcels of Krishna. Right now, because we are in the material world, our original consciousness is covered by material desires. But once all this is cleaned by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, by hearing about Krishna, then our true identity as spirit souls, as parts and parcels of Krishna, will again shine. Someone may argue, why is there need to create the spiritual sparks? The answer can be given in this way. So someone may say, why did God create us? For what? What is all this going on? Since the absolute personality of Godhead is omnipotent, he has both unlimited and limited potencies. So now why did God create us? Why did Krishna create us as his part and parcel? So what is the answer? That the absolute personality of Godhead is omnipotent. We say God is omnipotent. What does it mean to be omnipotent? Omnipotent means his potencies are both unlimited and limited. You see, because if his potencies were only unlimited, then he's not omnipotent. Like how God can be the greatest and even the smallest. This is his unlimited nature. So this is the meaning of omnipotent. To be omnipotent, he must have not only unlimited potencies, but limited potencies also. Thus, to exhibit his omnipotency, he displays both. The living entities are endowed with limited potency, although they are part of the Lord. So God is omnipotent. So his potencies are unlimited as well as limited. So what is his limited potency? Is us, we, the living entities. We are the limited potency of God. We can see we don't have unlimited potency. Sure, we have certain powers, certain things we can do, but they are limited. That's how we are. So this goes to show the omnipotency of God. This is how he's omnipotent. The Lord displays the spiritual world by his unlimited potencies, whereas by his limited potencies, the material world is displayed. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 5, the Lord says, Aparayam etasva anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabhaho yayedam dharayate jagat. Besides these inferior energies, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises all living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So we actually have nothing to do here in the material world. We are parts and parcels of God. We belong in the spiritual world. We are spiritual energy of Krishna. But what we are trying to do is imitate that we are God. We are trying to imitate God. We are trying to become God. Yeah, that's what we are trying to do here in this material world. The Jiva Bhuta, the living entities, control this material world with their limited potencies. Generally, people are bewildered by the activities of scientists and technologists. Due to Maya, they think that there is no need of God and that they can do everything and anything, but actually they cannot. So, the more we are progressing in our scientific discoveries, the more and more we are thinking, oh, there is no God. Everything is by machine, everything is automated. So more and more we are forgetting God. Everything around us. It's like so much automation that it gets difficult to remember God. But and then that's what's causing all the problems, because we have moved away from God. That is what the main problem is. Since this cosmic manifestation is limited, the existence is also limited. Everything in this material world is limited. And for this reason, there is creation, sustenance, and dissolution. However, in the world of unlimited energy, the spiritual world, there is neither creation nor destruction. So this material world is created at a certain time, is maintained for some time, and then it's destroyed. But the spiritual world always remains. It's eternal. Over there, we don't have to die, give up one body, again take up another body, take up another identity, another family, another species of life. No. Over there, our original position is fixed. It's fixed. It's there. We have just forgotten it. We have forgotten that we have a fixed original position in the spiritual world. If the personality of Godhead did not possess both limited and unlimited energies, he could not be called omnipotent. So he's called omnipotent because he has both unlimited energy and also the limited energy. Anor Anyat Mahato Mahiya, the Lord is smaller than the smallest and greater than the greatest. So he's not showing only one part of his energy. When we say omnipotent, it means he has everything. So he can become smaller than the smallest and also greater than the greatest. This is his power. This is his power. Not only then he can become great, but he can become smaller than the smallest. He is smaller than the smallest in the form of the living entities and greater than the greatest in his form of Krishna. So smaller of the smallest, how? We living entities. We are all parts and parcel of Krishna. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. And how is Krishna greater than the greatest? By Krishna himself. He is greater than the greatest. We are smaller than the smallest. If there were no no one to control, there would be no meaning to the conception of the Supreme Controller, Ishvara. Just as there's no meaning to a king without his subjects. So he is the Supreme Controller. Why? He controls us. When we say the word controller, means there's someone who is being controlled. So who's he controlling? It's us, the living entities. If all the subjects became king, there would be no distinction between the king and an ordinary citizen. So then if everyone is the king, then what is the meaning to being a king? Thus, for the Lord to be the supreme controller, there must be a creation to control. The basic principle for the existence of the living entities is called Chidvilas, or spiritual pleasure. The omnipotent Lord displays his pleasure potency as the living entities. The Lord is described in the Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12 as Ananda Mayobhyasat. He is by nature the reservoir of all pleasures. And because he wants to enjoy pleasure, there must be energies to give him pleasure or supply him the impetus for pleasure. This is the perfect philosophical understanding of the absolute truth. So it's like a father. A father, why does he have children? So he can enjoy with them. He takes care of the baby, he works, makes money for the child, he takes the child for a walk, he maintains the child, he does everything for the child. Why? To have this loving relationship. He feels pleasure in the association of the child. That's what it is with God and us. We are all God's children. We have a loving relationship with him. He feels he wants to enjoy pleasure. Now we will say, why is it that only God wants to enjoy? We also want to enjoy. Our perfect enjoyment is when we are connected to God. That's the perfect way for us to enjoy. And so this is the perfect philosophical understanding of the absolute truth, that there is a loving relationship between the living entity and God, and we need to be situated in that relationship. Like the small child and the father is a loving relationship. The child is out he's enjoying in the lap of his father, and the father is also enjoying maintaining the child. That is how our relationship is with God. Is that all right?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I have one question. Like you said, like in spiritual world, it is neither created nor destroyed. And like this material world is every time like it is a certain period of life. And again, it start with the beginning. So in spiritual world, like we are the part and parcel of Krishna, right? And the demigods and Shiva and Brahma, they also like change. Like they are not fixed, right? So yes. So my question is like how it is neither created or not destroyed. Like everything is changing there also, right? Only Krishna is the fixer. He is the only one who is never created nor destroyed. So are you talking about the Krishna and everything is inside the Krishna? That's why it's neither created nor destroyed.
So everything and everyone in the spiritual world is neither created nor destroyed.
But in spiritual world, there are demigods and there are other gods also, right?
There's no need for demigods in the spiritual world.
Only Krishna is there, right?
So in the spiritual world, in every planet of the spiritual world, there is an expansion of Krishna, Narayan, Vishnu. So in all the different planets of the spiritual world, there are different expansions of Krishna. And on the highest planet in the spiritual world, which is called Golok Vrindavan or Krishna Loka, over there, Krishna is there himself. So all the living entities in the spiritual world, they don't die. They don't have to give up one body, take up another body. No, they are fixed in that whatever body they have. It's a spiritual body. Don't need to change that body. And there is no need for demigods there, because here in the material world, we need the demigods because they are helping. Rather, it's their desire to control. So Krishna is giving them this post, this position. Okay, you can control. Because they are all devotees of Krishna. But in the spiritual world, we do not need Lord Brahma over there. We don't need Lord Ganesh. They have their own spiritual identities in the spiritual world. Each of us have our own spiritual identity in the spiritual world. Lord Shiva, he's not an ordinary living entity. Lord Shiva is not like Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, sometimes he may be an expansion of Krishna, an incarnation of Krishna, but mostly is a living entity. But Lord Shiva is a Shiva Tattva by himself, is an identity by himself. So Prabhupada explains, or Bhagavatam explains this also, that Lord Shiva is an expansion of Vishnu. You see, everything and everyone comes from Krishna. So then Lord Vishnu expanded as Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva can never become Vishnu again. So the example is given that we can make yogurt from milk. We have some milk, we can change it into yogurt. But once we have yogurt, we can never change it again into milk. So that is Lord Shiva's tattva. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity, and he has his own spiritual planet in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, Lord Shiva is called Sadashiv. He's called Sadashiv. And the Lord Shiva in this material world is an expansion of this Sadashiva. But Lord Shiva is not Lord Vishnu, but he's an expansion of Lord Vishnu, but in the category of Shiva Tattva, not in the category of Vishnu Tattva. Is that okay?
Yes, yes. It's okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.